Going live over here. Live. I'm live. Hi, good people. What's up? I hope the audio is working. It looks like it is. Fantastic. We got Instagram going here too. It's going to happen. It's going to blow up the space-time continuum if I'm live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. We'll close this door because I just like the way it looks better when it's closed. My videos. So Instagram people, come on over and join on YouTube. I'm doing a live stream tonight to make up for my lack of a Sunday live yesterday because I was traveling. I was on a long flight, 11 hours. Who we got over here on YouTube? We got Hadley Scott McIntyre, who just got a wraparound intonatable bridge for his Les Paul Jr., his Epi Les Paul Jr. We got Paul in the house. He says, great interview with the captain. Thanks, that's right. If you guys haven't seen, I did a little interview at Anderton's, the captain, Mr. Lee. And I had a lot of fun with him, actually. And we did a little PT100 demoing on the fly. And I think it went really well. I had a good time with it. Anyways, okay, I'm going to sign off Instagram now. I did this purely as promo to get you guys to come over to YouTube and hang out over there. So come over there. I'll be over, I don't know, for an hour or something, doing a live stream. YouTube, youtube.com/Pete Thorn. See you there. I'm all yours now, YouTube. Let me put that down. Yeah. All right, what do we got going here, folks? Thanks for joining me on a Monday night. I know that means there won't be anybody from Europe in the house because it's nighttime there. Or at least only people that are up really late. But what chorus pedal do I prefer? Says Winston Churchill. We shall never surrender. What chorus pedal do I prefer? Well, I like CE1 style choruses, and I like CE2 style choruses. I like that EGH chorus, actually. Is really nice. I did a demo for MXR. I think it sounds really good. I do use the chorus in my Mobius that's on my board sometimes. I like, okay, what are a couple others? The Anodyne chorus, I believe it's called, from Anodyne from Provenance. Really good sounding chorus pedal, analog chorus pedal. The Sir chorus is great. The Alexa, you know, it's actually really sophisticated for a typical chorus pedal. It's got like all these different waveforms. Kevin Sir designed it. It's pretty great. Got a ton of headroom. A lot of choruses I find they kind of distort. Like, and when you want them to, it's like, where's that extra fuzz or like a little bit of hair on the signal coming from? And it's the chorus pedal because they just don't make chips like they used to. Wow, we got a lot of people online already. I mean, it's pretty good, almost 140 for being at a weird time. So yeah, I find that, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but a lot of analog chips, they'll distort really early. They just don't make them like they used to with the same headroom and stuff. So you got to come up with different schemes to get to get them to be clean, so they don't create distortion and a lack of headroom. There's a lot of modern choruses with humbuckers, they'll clip. So anyways, the Alexa, Kevin definitely designed the circuit to not do that. And it took some doing. So it's a good one. Anyway, there's a few. That Anodyne chorus from Providence, really nice. The Alexa, there's a couple others, but I'm just not thinking of them right now. But those are some great options for sure. The Dimension from the Waza Dimension is great. I did a demo of that where I played Flesh for Fantasy through it. That's a really, really good one too. You finally got on with the captain, says Michael. Awesome. I did, and it was fun. We had a good hang. I hadn't really hung with him before except for NAMM, and he's a nice guy. And I'm really happy that he had me on the show. It actually was fun. Your jet lag must be brutal, says Michael. I'm doing pretty good. I got a lot to do tonight. I'm a little stressed because I got a bunch of music to learn for some gigs coming up. And so I'm probably only gonna hang an hour or so tonight just because I know I'm bound to get tired. So I'm on the coffee now. And I'm looking forward to the end of this week. I'll put it that way. It's been a little crazy. The trip was great. The Europe trip was amazing. I can tell you all about it. And the clinics were really fun and stuff. It was a lot of travel though, and like car travel. So it's very different than being on the road in a band. It's a little more like being a traveling salesman or something. It's a lot of long hours, a lot of driving. Not complaining though. It was a really great time, and meeting everybody was the best part at the clinics. If there's anybody out there that came to any of them, I really appreciate you coming. It was, you know, all the way. Well, basically we did 14 clinics, you know, Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, France, all over the UK, Germany, and all of that mostly driving, only like 1 or 2 flights. The flight to get over there, and then almost the rest of it was driving in cars. So I literally drove all around Europe, and it was bonkers. But the best part was the gigs, as it usually is, even when you're playing music gigs, of course. You know, the meeting people and stuff, and just so many guitar nuts over there and stuff I got to meet, and there's a lot of passion for the guitar, and it was just a lot of really nice people as well. So like, I had a good time doing that for sure. Can you talk about Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing? What I like about it? You know what I like about it? It's just so damn musical. He's such a great rhythm player. His lead playing is like, sure, it's flashy, but compared to today's shredding, it's really, like, when you listen to it, it's really not that shreddy, is it? It's like he just his technique is perfect for me for the amount of, you know, like what I like to hear as far as flash in guitar playing. It was so musical, just the way that he you know, would, both his rhythm playing was just incredible. It was super in the pocket, and then his lead playing, I don't know, it just never gets old for me. It's just great guitar playing. When am I coming to New York? I'm not sure. I've got some East Coast stuff coming up, but not New York City right now, I don't think. Well, although we've been trying to get that together. Greetings from Tennessee. Perfect radio voice. Why, thank you. Good evening, and welcome to the Pete Thorn Monday Night Livestream. Hey, dude, was hoping to see you in Charlotte in November, but they are sold out for the clinic. Wow, well, that's good news, but bad news for that's Jason. Well, send me an email or something, so let's see if I can help you out. That's really great, though, that they sold out for it. That's terrific. The clinics have just been so well attended. I'm so stoked. I'll show you a photo from one of the ones that I did in, I guess this was Mannheim. So this was at Guitar Summit. But if you can see that, it was friggin' packed, man. It was great. Like, I don't know, a couple hundred people at least in there. So that was awesome. It was really, really fun. You're also live, also in Helix Club, says Mr. Paolo. Paolo. I hope I'm saying that right. What's up? How'd you do that? That's a cool trick. Christopher's here from Instagram. He came over from, see, my little promo on Instagram work. That's great. What are my thoughts on the Fender Twin amp a la Evil Twin? Are we talking about the that's Jay Jones. Are you talking about the modeling one by any chance? I'm just not sure if that's the one you mean or not. Or is it a different? Are you talking about a different twin? MXR Analog Chorus. Yes, pretty good one. Oh, somebody's up there in the top chat. It's Chris Cam in the top chat. Thank you for all the videos and photos during your European trip. Thanks, man. Beautiful places most of us may never get to see. I hope you do. Get over there and take a trip. They'd love to have you. Also, great Anderton's video. Thanks. We now understand what your TGP handle means. Yeah. Stranger in a Strange Land. Yeah, Anderton's was super fun, and I hope you do go to Europe. Get over there. You know what my favorite place to visit was? Maybe I had a great time going everywhere, but man, is the Netherlands a nice place. Damn. Those people, great food, really nice people. I mean, the food's outstanding. You know, if you go to like some of the nicer restaurants there where, you know, it's you know, where they're like foraging and stuff. It's like Denmark and the Netherlands really got like some incredible cuisine going on. It's great. And it's such nice people, and it's the kind of place where you haven't even got to the crosswalk, you're just walking up to it, and the cars are slowing down, and they're like waving at you to go. You know, it's just a really, really pleasant place. Nice pace of life, and really, really great people. So I like the Netherlands a lot. Jason says, your thoughts on Neo Creamback. Oh, hey, thanks again, Chris Cam, for doing the top chat so much. I really appreciate that. Jason's in the top chat. He says, your thoughts on the Neo Creamback versus, say, a regular greenback. Is the weight saving worth a compromise? You know, I don't find them to be a compromise, actually. It's just kind of a variation on the greenback tone. I think they sound great. They sound like a worn-in greenback to me, though. So it's going to be a little more relaxed sounding than even the standard greenback. It's got a little less fizz on the top end, actually, which could be to me, it was like, wow, that's a really terrific sounding speaker. Like almost got a little more laid back vibe than a regular, the regular greenback. So I don't really think tonally, we didn't pick them for the PT15 cabinet only because they sounded a little laid back, and because the amp was only 15 watts. I felt like maybe I needed a little more in the tone. And there was a little bit of weight savings, you know, that was nice, but still I felt like we just need a little more push. So actually we went with the V30 and a regular greenback because they just seemed a little louder and a little more, you know, in a cabinet though, like a 412, those Neo Creambacks could be a great thing with a 50 watt or 100 watt plexi type amp because they're going to be a little more relaxed and less punishing. So with a really brutally loud amp, that could be a great thing. So it just depends what you're doing. But anyway, long story short, on the greenbacks, Jason, or greenbacks versus Neo Creams. I think the Neo Creamback, if anything, it's not compromised tonally. It's just a different tone. So I would give them a try if you want to save some weight, and if a more sort of worn-in speaker sounds like a nice option for you. Yeah, aloha from Hawaii, says Chris. Lucky you, man. I was over there. How do I feel about Klon copies to push the front end? Well, I use an Archer, so I love them. That's Nick Santori. I'm a big Archer fan, as well as the Ryra One, Rock Your Repaired Amp, the Wamplers, Tumnus, all nice pedals. HX Effects class, please, says George. Yeah, I could do that one of these days. So that was part of my clinic, showing the HX Effects and how I use it. Just a terrific sounding unit. Rick says, hello, brother. Howdy from Detroit, says Drumyon08. What's up, Detroit? How are you? How do I like the DS1 Boss distortion pedal, says Russell. Well, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's usable, and it's a classic at this point, you know, but there's so many distortions out there now. It is the #1 selling distortion pedal in the world. I've sold more of those than any other distortion. Of course, it's been around for probably longer than any distortion. Stereo tap tremolo recommendations. I'd say Mobius, I guess. I'm not sure. Does a Flint work in stereo? But probably my Mobius. That's what I have on my board. Let's see, the BAE Fuzz or the Starlight, two of my favorites. Says Zach, which one? The BAE is a little more vintage, and with the treble booster built in, it's got that added option. The Starlight works with buffers. The BAE might work with buffers too. I'm not actually sure about that because I've never had it on a board. I've always just used it in the studio and plugged it in, you know. So that's a good question. But wow, I'm really feeling the jet lag right now. Just the Starlight, I always recommend to people that don't generally like fuzz and they're more like overdrive or distortion people, but they want a fuzz, but they just haven't found one they like. It's a nice bridge between fuzz and overdrive and distortion. Whereas the BAE is a little bit more like a traditional big, fat, woolly, you know, sounding fuzz, and then hit it with the treble boost, and all of a sudden it gets brighter, and it's just a great solo tone. So one's a little more vintage, one's a little bit more like a nice modern controllable fuzz. Terrific sounding lead tone all on its own. Where's Ben? Yeah, Ben's not here. I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure if Ben knew I was doing this tonight or not. Hey, Pete, can you recommend a really dark sounding and simple digital delay, says Eric. Dark sounding digital. I mean, I would probably get something just like the new DD8 and use that because it's really basic. And you could easily, you know, go to one of the analog settings, you know, to kind of tame the top end if you want. That'll be pretty dark. So like that'd be a good option. There's probably others, and I just can't think of it right now. Let me see. What about a Dig? Does it have a tone control on it? From Strymon? Might. What else? Somebody recommend a digital delay that's got a tone control. I'm just looking around the room here to see if I can see anything that I might have in here. Let's see. Really simple. Nothing else is coming to mind, but certainly like a DD7 or DD8 will give you the option of, you know, a darker sound via the analog setting. It's quite dark. I can't see anything else in here that I got right now. I'm also just slow in the head at the moment, though. You said simple. I mean, you could dial in on something like a H9, no problem, for a dark tone, or a Timeline for a dark tone. On the digital setting, they've got tone controls where you can tweak them. You know, the same thing with Line 6, like in the Helix. But just a simple delay that, yeah, that's the only ones I can think of right now. That's, you know, specifically digital that you can turn the high end down on. Hey, you were in the UK this morning. No, I got back yesterday, actually. So I was in the UK yesterday. You might have seen a little post from me on Instagram or something. Oh, that was like delayed 12 hours or something. Is it possible to get feedback while using a DI? Sure. A couple different ways you can do it. You could split your signal. There's a trick. I've probably brought this up before, but I learned it. I guess this is what they did on the Appetite for Destruction album when they had the amps out in the studio, but they wanted some feedback. Was they would run a split to a small little practice amp and have it sitting in the studio. So, you know, you're plugged into your main rig, right? But then maybe you're using an 8B box that's buffered, and you split off and take another line out to like a little, say even a battery powered little Marshall or something, and then turn the gain all the way up. So it's just cranked and really distorted. And put that close to your guitar somewhere, you know, down on the floor or something, and it's going to make the guitar feedback. So even if you've got a only mildly overdriven sound coming out of your main rig, that little amp screaming at the pickups is going to, you know, if it's really high gain, is going to make the guitar feedback. So that's one way to go. The other option would be I use a Freakout, which is the Digitech pedal, and it's kind of a, you know, artificial feedback, but it's pretty amazing. So I love the Digitech Freakout pedal. Really super useful. What else we got here? Hello from Melbourne, Australia. That's Educated Tone. We've got Danielle here. He says, what, or Danielle, it's Danielle. I don't know if it's dude or chick, actually, because Danielle could be, I think it's looks like a guy's spelling, though. I don't know. I digress. What's your favorite cable when not using wireless? Any preference? I've got some nice cables from La Boga right now. I've got some, what else have I got? What's this thing? I think this is La Boga right here. There's some nice people that got me some cables recently. Just like this one, right? Oh man, I'm so blind. Allow me to put on my reading glasses. This one is, oh, Way of Sound. Wait, this one's from, yeah, this is a La Boga. This one right here. I've got a bunch of Provenance. So they're like these guys. And I use some of these on my pedal board as well. For like the little short ends. They're terrific cables, the Provenance stuff. They're, you know, from Japan. Really nice. So that's kind of basically what I'm using right now. I'm not a big esoteric kind of cable guy. I believe in like you know, I like the Planet Waves cables a lot. As long as you've got a low capacitance situation. I do listen to them sometimes. I'll go, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I'll find a cable that's really dark, and I'll get rid of that, you know, because it means they've got more capacitance. I don't like losing a lot of high end via a cable. I'd rather turn down the treble on the amp. So, but I'm not a directional cable guy, and I don't really believe in the idea of, you know, spending hundreds of dollars on cables. And I kind of did when I get a lot of actually people asking me like, will you review my cable and sending me cables? And it's like, I'm not really into the thing that cables make this huge difference. I mean, I know they do sound, some of them sound different, but to me, it's sort of like if you've got a good 10-foot cable, especially in the studio, a good 10-foot cable is kind of a good 10-foot cable. Like more capacitance, less capacitance. That's the big factor that seems to affect the tone. More high-end roll-off or less high-end roll-off. A cable can't give you more signal or something. You know, that doesn't happen. Many times people think when they hear a cable, it's got more gain or something. That's just not even, I don't think, possible. From what I understand, it'll just be midier because it's got less top end. So anyways, it's a passive thing, you know, it's not going to add gain. Right. Any experience with Fujigen guitars? A little bit. Yeah, they've got a custom shop. And I mean, I've played a lot of them. I've never owned one. I like some of them. I like the way that they have nice necks. And I like that kind of like scrape binding all the way down the neck they do sometimes on their Les Paul style guitars. They look really nice. Spot the MXR chorus. Cool. Doing an unboxing video, says Music Therapy. Unbox that thing. Unbox it and play it. That's what I say. Oh, I just jumped to the end of the chat. Hey, there's Ben. Ben's in the house. What's up, Ben? Expensive cable hype, says Craig. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of it's hype. Jeff says, interest in a Rangemaster clone. Full Tone has a new clone coming out, and I know of the Jex Teles Range Lord. Do I have a recommendation? I've got the Dynaranger from Divided by 13. I've had that for many, many years, and I think it sounds great. I've got a Cornish sitting at my feet right now. It's the really expensive dual Cornish version. And it's not mine. It's lent to me by John Shanks. The Constellation from Crazy Tube Circuits is nice because it's got a whole bunch of fuzzes and a Rangemaster style built in. It's a little bit not quite as much gain as some of the other ones that I have tried, but it's nice. It sounds really good. There's a few that come to mind right there. There's a Catlin bred one, the Viper or something, Naga Viper or something, supposed to be pretty cool. SD Designs in the top chat. He says, welcome back, Pete. Ever tried the Game Changer Audio Plus sustain pedal? Love that thing. Super wacky. The one with the big, it looks like a piano sustain pedal. And I've ever driven a PT Cruiser. No, I haven't. I love the Game Changer stuff. And they're sending me some new pedal to do a video of, actually. I saw them at the Mannheim Guitar Summit show. Love those guys. Super cool company. They're fuzz. They're crazy fuzzes. They're really neat. And that sustain pedal was one of the coolest things I saw at NAMM when it came out a few years ago. Alrighty. Hope I answered enough, gave you enough Rangemaster. I really like the Divided by 13 if you can find one of those. It's always been a favorite pedal of mine. I think actually that's the pedal I used on Monster Movie. If you listen to Monster Movie from Guitar Nerd, that melody was all Rangemaster. Oh, the rhythm too. Kind of snotty sounding, Rangemaster into a pretty bright amp, so it was extra snotty. Yeah. Yeah. Great interview with Lee, says James. Thanks. And more guitar says, love your interview with the Captain. How's the live music scene on, say, the Sunset Strip nowadays? Is there one? I don't know. I mean, there's a scene, but it's I tell you what, it's a lot of cover bands or like covers going on, jams and stuff, jam nights. You know, Tuesday night at the Whiskey Jam Night and Monday night at the Viper Room, and those nights are fun and stuff. But I go down and I play with them sometimes. My only fear with it is that never used to exist. It always was just live original music in LA, and then if you wanted to see covers, you'd go out of LA to, you know, Arcadia or Pasadena or these places that I used to play covers in sometimes. So now there being covers in LA is a little weird, but there's other places in LA where there's live music going on. For example, in like Highland Park, there's, you know, the Hi-Hat and the Highland Park Bowl, which is this really, if you ever come to LA, go to the Highland Park Bowl. It's this amazing old bowling alley, the oldest bowling alley in LA. And it's restored beautifully with all the original lanes and everything and all the equipment. And it's got incredible, like 3 bars or 4 bars in there. They're really gorgeous. And it's just, Google it, look up the Highland Park Bowl and you see pictures of the place. It's just an incredible facility. And anyway, there's a room in there where live bands play, and that's kind of fun. It's usually a little more like indie kind of, you know, but there's bands in there. I like that part of LA a lot. If anybody wants, it's a little more like, I don't know, it's like Brooklyn or something, I guess. It's pretty hipster, but it's like up and coming, and it's got a great vibe to it. Just kind of a really, I don't know, just the bars and the restaurants and stuff around there are really cool. So that's a neat vibe. Whereas the Sunset Strip to me seems a little, it's just a little like past its prime or something. I hate saying that. I still love the Rainbow. That place is still rules. And it's great to see a good show occasionally, the Whiskey, but it's not really, it's not what it once was, you know. I mean, when I arrived there 30 years ago, it was a different thing. But it was also on the tail end of the whole thing when I got there 30 years ago. So, well, we got 265 people online. That's not bad for doing this at a weird time, once again, on Monday. And I'll be traveling again on Sunday, unfortunately, so I've got to do it at the same time next week. But when I see you guys next week on Monday, I will be stoked to be over my jet lag and also have a little break, I think, because I'll be back and I'll finally get to kind of just decompress a little bit. I'm a little stressed. I got to take it easy for 5 minutes. I'm not getting enough YouTube stuff done, and I feel bad about that. I feel like I need to get some videos done of pedals and things like that. And it's hard, man. Like when you're taking on the clinics and gigging as well, and then I've got the YouTuber. It's just like the balance it's a little tough to strike, especially when you're like lagging. But I guess I went back and forth to the UK. I went over there to do a gig, flew back to LA for a week, went back again and started a month of clinics and stuff and did all that work. And now came back, and now I'm about to head out on 3 gigs this week. And I'm just like, I don't know, just feeling it, if you know what I mean. I'm only one man. Pete, can you show us the Shanks Red Special? Yeah, it's right here. Actually, this is it. So I'm not sure who built this guitar, but this is it. And look at that neck. Can you just see how thick it is? It's a tree trunk. It's a bear. I've been playing my guitar for a month, so coming back to this one, it's not like a bad playing guitar, but the action's pretty high, and the neck is like a damn lap steel. So it's like it takes a minute to get used to. So it's a unique instrument. Little Scott Music says, that's Lauren. He says, you posted an awesome quote on the Facebook page from the Captain Anderton interview. Was that the one where I said, if we want the guitar to be dangerous, we got to do it old school? Turn it up. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Any advice on affordable audio interface? I'm looking at Audient. ID14, any experience? No, I did try that other Audient interface, which was pretty cool. The one that's got guitar preamp built in and stuff. Nice interface. Others I can recommend. I mean, definitely a UA guy. The UA Apollos or the Arrow, I believe, is their inexpensive one. and some other good ones. I'm always been an Apogee fan as well, and I started out on a PreSonus interface many years ago, and I thought it was great, terrific. You know, Mute That Bozo says bowling alleys usually have decent pool tables. I don't know if they have pool tables at this one, but check it out online. Oh, they have great pizza too. It's like pizza, bowling, 4 bars, and just look at the lanes and stuff and the pictures of the place. It's really something else. A really nice job on it. Dyna Ranger into an RSA 31 is silly good, says Drew. I believe that, Drew. Yeah. I have an RSA 31 actually. That's that amp right there. That amp right there. That amp right there. So I could try that. Okay. What else we got here? What else have we got here? How many guitars do I have? I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure right now. I should get that together and figure it out, though. I'm going to be in the process of kind of consolidating all my stuff here pretty soon, and trying to, towards the end of the year, and try and get everything together and get organized, because it's out of hand right now. My pedals, I got all like organized into some bins and things with a little spreadsheet, so I know where they are. So that's really cool. But I need to do that with everything. Favorite reverb pedal for Shimmer? I'll tell you what, that new DD200, hell of a good Shimmer sound. I'm not really like a Shimmer guy, but I don't mind it. Like, it's, you know, the neat thing about Shimmer is that, although it's really overused, maybe, but you can use it in a track if there's other things going on. You won't hear it. It'll just sound like texture, you know. So then it's not overused, because it'll just be cool. But what was my point? Anyway, DD200. I talked to somebody from Boss actually at Guitar Summit in Mannheim about it, and they said that they did a lot of work on it to actually get it to sound like that. I said, yeah, we're glad you noticed that, because the audio, the fidelity of it, it just like has the tail, it's so smooth sounding. It's not grainy. So I got to say that that's probably the best Shimmer that I've heard is in the DD200 of note recently. Now, I have never beat it, you know, but it just struck me as being like really bitching. Any smaller flangers that mimic an MXR flanger? Not that I've tried. The MXR is pretty special. It's just that great sound, you know. I love the MXR flanger. I've had many on pedal boards for a sound that, you know, I don't use like even that much, but it's like when you turn it on, it's that sound. And I love the EVH version. It nails it. Anybody that tells you that it doesn't, I mean, it absolutely nails the sweep of the original one to me. What mics do you use to mic cabinets? Says Andrew Law from do you mean you're from Toronto or Tornoro? I wonder if that's I'm not sure where that is. So that maybe you meant Toronto and it's like misspelling, or maybe not. What mics do I use? I use a 57, generally speaking, almost always, and then I'll blend it with something else. Really a big fan of a couple different ribbon mics. The M160 is the Bear mic that I really like. It's a classic Hendrix mic. It's a kind of a warmer ribbon sound, not quite as full as like a Royer or something, but definitely very full. And that can kind of be a good thing, because it's got a little bit of not too like, you don't have to roll low end out of it, I find. I like the ST170 from Sterling Audio, which is an inexpensive microphone. It's a couple $100, and it's kind of a knockoff, I think, of it's an active ribbon, similar to like a Royer 122. Now, 122 is a great sounding mic. I like it better. I'm not like a huge 121 fan, actually, after trying so many others. I mean, it's a good mic, and it'll do that thing blended with a 57, but I find it needs some EQ, and whereas a 122 has lots of top end. Dan Boole actually lent his to me and said, you don't even need a 57 with this, and you don't need to add top end. And I was like, really? And then I tried it, and I was like, whoa, he's right. It actually sounds really great. I should have just trusted it, but it just has a nice extended top end and sounds really good. It's active, the 122, so you turn on Phantom, and it's got a preamp in it and all that. What else? Guitar mics. Recently tried a FET 47 on guitar. expensive mic not many people are going to have access to, but original Neumann FET 47 sounds great on electric guitar. What's my favorite fretboard radius for a Strat, says Dennis. Well, it depends. He's in the top chat, by the way. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for, that's a hell of a top chat you did there, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. My favorite fretboard radius for a Strat varies. You know, I really like the radius on my white Sir Classic. It's over here. Let's just get it. I've got my green one in here too. Here's two Sir Classics. Don't drop it, or John will be mad. All right. I wish I knew what the neck shape was on this one, because this guitar has kind of a little bit of almost like a soft V in the back, and it's not dissimilar to my what do they call it? Even C Slim that's on my signature guitar, but it's a little bit more meat, and it almost has this little bit of a V to it. I know I'm not talking about the radius, but I think the radius on this guitar is their standard 10 to 14 compound. But this is a hell of a good guitar, and it's the Cadillac Green, which is just I've never seen another one quite this color, and colors do change over time. You know, look at how freaking sexy that is. That's a good looking guitar, right? This was a guitar they had as a second or not a second, but okay, somebody ordered this one. This is going way back to like 2009. I got this guitar, and I needed a Strat. I got the gig with Don Henley, and I needed a Strat that was just a good road Strat. And I said, "Do you have anything around that nobody's wants? Can I buy something from you?" And they went in the back and got this. And this was a guitar somebody had custom ordered, but he wanted a side jack, and they made a mistake and built it with the standard Strat jack. So the customer didn't want it. So the guitar was unsold, and lucky me, I got it. It's actually a Brazilian board on this guitar. It's bitchin'. This is a really, really good. This was my main guitar playing with Don, actually. I would play this thing on most of the set. So I love this thing. Now, this guitar has what they call 60C standard, I think, neck, but I ordered it. This is something I had made with the 9 to 12, 9.5 to 12 compound, because I wanted to try a little bit more of a vintage radius on this guitar. And I got to say, if you want a Sir with a little bit more of a classic feel to it, number one, check out what's different about it than this one. Can anybody spot it? What's different? What's different? Anybody know? Okay, this one's got 21 frets instead of 22, and I love that look. And actually, the new one I've got coming has 21 frets. The new one with the bird's eye neck on it that I've got made and stuff. So 21 fret. I love the rounded end, you know, fingerboard end. It just looks really, really cool to me. I don't mind the squared off one either, but it's just a little more classic to me, having the 21. You don't need that extra fret. Just bend further if you really need that note. But anyway, this white one with the 9 to 12 compound, it's just a little more vintage feeling, and it just feels a little more like a vintage Strat to me. So that kind of, if I had to have a guitar made, Dennis, I would say that's kind of my favorite lately, the 9 or 9.5 to 12, whatever it is. For a Strat, for a true Strat kind of feel, but well, it's not. I guess it'd be 7.25 or 7.5 or whatever a Strat, 7.25, right? It's vintage Strat, so it's closer to that than getting a flatter board. Cornish makes me think of hens, says Terry. Definitely. Lewis says he just got a PT15. That's awesome, and it should be there tomorrow. Could I explain a little bit more about the speaker outputs, the difference between the two? Yes, so there's two speaker outputs on the back of the amplifier. I have one sitting here. I can show you. Okay, so the red one right here, if you plug in a cabinet into there, it's going to disable the load. And you'll want to use, you know, 8 ohm cab, 16 ohm cab, whatever. Just set the impedance selector for your cabinet if you use this one. If you use this one, the top one, it leaves the load in parallel. So it's like having two cabinets connected, but you don't have two cabinets connected. You got a load connected and a real cab connected. And what happens is, it, of course, splits the power between the two, and the load absorbs some of the volume of the amplifier. So you're going to need to, if let's say you've got an 8 ohm load, which you do in the amp, and then an 8 ohm cabinet connected, you'd set the impedance selector for 4 ohms on the back. So half the impedance. You know, that would be ideal if it was two 8 ohm cabs. Set this to 4. And what'll happen is then you'll get a reduction in volume using this jack with the load connected in parallel. It's kind of like having a one-step attenuator, really. Sort of like having the power of the amplifier. Like turns the amp into like a 7-watt amp, basically. So you've got a nice option there for limiting volume. That's pretty cool. Just one extra little thing you can do with the amp. Hopefully that answers your question. I hope you like the amp list. So let us know. Come see us next week and let us know how it works out. Great job with the captain interview. Thanks. It was a fun watch. I appreciate that. What else we got here? I'm gonna move down kind of to the towards the end of the chat. It'll be better if I just do that. Wow, we got 300 people online. That's awesome. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm really sorry about the kind of spotty stream last week and stuff, but you know, I was in. I can't believe that it was a week ago already, but I was in Lake Como, wasn't I? God, man, covered a lot of ground in the last week. It was a lot of, just a lot of travel, but it was cool. How about the Bear Dynamic M160, says Jackson. Yeah, I mentioned that one. One of my favorites. Also confirmed recently. I compared it to a couple different mics, and I think I like it more than Royers. I like the 160. Great sounding mic. Now considering the Boss over the Nunaber for Shimmer. Okay, the Nunaber, I didn't even think of it for whatever reason, just pop it in my head, but it's also great. So anything Nunaber makes, those guys they're really like a primo company as far as pretty much everything they do is pretty excellent. Their chorus pedals great too. How is the upper fret access on the Suhr guitars? Really good. They've got a nice, you know, small sort of heel. The heel is kind of sculpted, so it's excellent. Ever play anything with scalloped frets, says Joey? Not only have I did my own. Actually scalloped a Strat in the early 90s. Let's go down to the Sunset Grill, says SD Design. Watch the working girls go by. Watch the basket people walk around and bumble. Stare out at the auburn sky. This is like group therapy for gas. I don't know if it's therapy. It's more like enabling, isn't it? Is the green one the same one you did your eruption video on back in the day, says Gary? No, actually, I don't have that guitar anymore. The green one I got around 2009. The guitar they did the eruption video on, I got in 2005, and that was my first Suhr that I bought from a guy in Philly, I think, on a site I've seen. V60 LPs in the cactus green. Yes, that's right, says Chris Cam. That color is fantastic, says Lawrence. Yeah, it's like the Fender custom color that never existed, really, like green guitar. Narrow, tall fret, says Meet That Bozo. On those guitars, it's a 6105 size, you know, whatever that particular size. Does Tinnitus ever bought? Oh, it's Scott Henderson. I'll have to call him back. I'm not name dropping. It's Scott Henderson. Does tinnitus ever bother you? Not really. Not anymore. I was listening right now to see if I could hear it. It's pretty minimal as it stands right now for me. It's not bad, really. It used to, but luckily, like, yeah, it's kind of gotten better. Like, it's amazing. If I listen to my left ear plugged, I mean, there's almost nothing now. Years ago, it was like, I swear it just faded over the years. It was weird. It kind of rang for like, you know, and my ears are sensitive though. They do start ringing, you know, easier now than they like quicker than they used to. So I don't know. I guess I got lucky. I don't know. I think everybody's different just depending on our makeup, you know. Did I see that James Hetfield went back to rehab? Man, the road is tough. It is tough. I mean, life's tough, you know. I guess we just hear about the rock guys, you know, but of course there's people every day that go back to rehab, right? Or go in and out of rehab, or, you know. It's a stressful time, you know. Like, life's just stressful, I think. So we just hear about the rock dudes. But best of luck to James. I hope he, you know, I'm sure he's, you know, it's hard. It's a hard thing, right? It's like, I don't know, trying to deal with life is, you know, and we're lucky. I mean, shit. Like, I tell you, some of the like, I was just in Italy, and down there in Naples, it's tough down there, man. It's like a tough city, you know. And I didn't realize actually what a tough city it is, but the people are so nice, and the food is out of this world down there. But it's really crowded, and it's like a lot of traffic, and it's I know there's a lot of unemployment. It's a tough it's a tough go, you know. Hear any cool licks lately? Who's the guitar? Yeah, what's that band, Rufus Black, that I just got turned on to? You guys know that band? Man, that's some good stuff. Let me see here. I think that's the band, Rufus Black. Is that Rufus? Is that the band? Am I saying that? Is that the right name? No, I don't think I have the name right. Shit. What is the band? Somebody tell me the band that I'm thinking of. They're super cool, kind of traditional bluesy. Rufus. I'm not getting the name of the band right. I can't believe it. Oh man. Because I just Google it and nothing comes up for music. Sir was listening to them yesterday, and also Nigel from Sir turned me on to this band, Rufus something or other. God. Anyways, I'm forgetting their name. That's some of the coolest new stuff I've heard recently. Some great stuff on the new Big Rack record, too. Thanks for bringing Doug Pinnick into the mix. Always appreciate the King's X love. Yeah, I got to do that fun video with him. That's Leopard. Thanks, man. Yeah, Doug's a great guy, and I love his bass playing and his tone. What do I think about a Line 6 Firehawk amp? Actually, never played one, so I don't know. Saw a few of your videos about a 10-inch load box's reamping. Do I think the 2 notes reload is the best option? What you're asking about my favorite load and reamp? It's the Power Station. I have one here. That's my favorite load reamp box. Works great. No reservations about recommending that one. No diss on 2 notes. That's my favorite. So 2 notes make some great stuff that I've used. Torpedo Live, I think, is excellent. I've also got a, that little M cab thing is terrific. I did a video on my channel recently. Let's see. Somebody had a Burns Brian May. The body was flawless. That's Krell Bar. Sounded great. However, the fretwork was dodgy and kept popping out. Like frets popping out. Not to mention the 0 fret was unbelievably high and needed to be replaced. Ben says, show your thumbs up with or show your support with a thumbs up. I was going to say, show your thumbs up with a support. That's how jet lagged I am. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. When I get drunk, I play James Brown songs really loud. This is SD Design. That sounds good. When's the next Tim and Pete show? Best show on the internet. I'd love to do a Tim and Pete reunited one of these days. Reunited and it feels so good. One of these days. What's the best metal? Oh, I thought you said, what's the best meal? You said, what's the best meal you had in the European Union? That's Chris Cam. They said, what's the best metal? The best metal I've heard from the European Union is Gojira recently. I love that band. But the best meal I had is probably the one I had in the Netherlands. The folks from Fellowship of Acoustics, which is this outstanding store that I'm working on a video for. I'm making a video about the store. It's just this unbelievable place. Beautiful old house, basically, or office, but it was like built in 1870. This building, gorgeous place to go buy a guitar. And those guys took me out for a dinner that was just fantastic in the Netherlands. That was, the chef was like, I grew these flowers that I have here, I made the sauce out of in my garden, and I crushed them up, and then there was a lot of things about his garden. And he was a forager. Anyway, it was great. Had some great gluten-free pizza in Naples. I was gonna try the regular pizza, but then I got scared to like get sick and feel like crap the next day because it's so much travel and stuff. And I simply Googled gluten-free pizza and found a place that got like, 2,000 ratings and 4.5 stars on Yelp and all that. So I went there and it was amaze balls. It was really good. Super good. Eric says, would you say the HX Stomp would be a good audio interface if you want an all-in-one thing for the price? So HX Stomp, I have one here. Yeah, I mean, it's USB interface, right? I haven't tried it like that yet, to be honest. I've only tried it analog out. This thing's great, though. Come on, look at it. It's tiny. Bitchin'. It's the size of a timeline, and it'll do absolutely anything. It's such a great thing to have, I mean, honestly. There's a effect unit or modeler. Backup. It could be a million different things. What else we got here? Let's see, folks. Moving down to the bottom of the chat. And let's see. Rufus Thomas. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the band I was thinking of. Did I see Dan and Mick when I was over? No, we tried to work that out, but it just didn't happen this time. Didn't get it together this time. Oh, you know where I can find the name of the band? I'm just remembering Sir posted about it yesterday on his Instagram, so I'm gonna look. This is I got this great band to recommend to you guys. So okay, John Sir. What's John Sir's? Is that his Instagram? There it is. Okay, he said, listening to, it is Rufus Black. Rufus Black band. But they just don't have a hell of a lot of action going on the internet. But man, this is a good band. It is Rufus Black. Rufus Black band. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I was recommending the right. Let me just listen to a tune here and make sure it's the right band. Yep. Can you guys hear that? I don't know if you can. Great guitar player, man. Ripping guitar solos and killer tones, too. But anyway, yeah, Shut Up is the song. Listen to that tune. And check out this guitar player, man. It's just groovy and cool. It's, blues based kind of rock and roll, but it's not, I don't know, it just sounds great to me. So take a listen to them and see what you think. Do I have a favorite amongst my signature models I have in my possession? The blue one and the red one, but I got to give the gold one some love. I got to get the new bridge put on the gold one because I still have my 510 on that one. The black's great too. It's just got smaller frets because we were doing smaller frets at the beginning. I kind of moved towards but I pick up the black one. It's like, this plays great too. With either size frets. But I kind of love the red one these days for sure, and the red and the blue one. Do you have any favorite Instagram guitarists that I watch and listen to? I love what Chris Buck does, Mateus obviously does some killer stuff on there. Ariana Powell is always amazing. She doesn't put up videos very often, but when she does, it's always brilliant. Who else? Who else do I like on the Instagrams? Who's that dude from the UK that's got kind of the crazy hair and plays like amazing jazzy stuff? I love the Yvette. What's her name from Covet? She's always plays Yvette. She's amazing. boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Just listen to Laurie's new songs, and they're really good. That's Chris Cam. Yeah, Laurie's record's great. We did some of it here, 2 tunes. We did all the guitars here. Yeah. Good stuff. Yvette Young. Yeah. And Guthrie Goen says OSMG. Yeah, Yvette Young's amazing. All these folks with their amazing stylistic tendencies these days. I've ever tried stainless steel frets to prevent wear. Well, all my signature guitars have stainless steel frets. So yes, been using them for years now. Yep. What else we got here? What is the average? I have a CAA OD100 head like you played with Henley. Mine was actually PT100 with Don, but it was CAA style. So it's a little different than an OD100 because it doesn't have 6L6s and a few different things. Forgot to connect the cord to the cabinet, and it's been sitting there broken for 12 years. Do I think it's an easy fix? You probably blew a fuse. It's anywhere from you blew a fuse to you arced a tube socket or whatever, or it's, blew some tubes to you took out the output transformer. But that's probably not what happened, is my guess. Or you probably blew a fuse. The way John built them. But I can't promise that. You might have done more damage. I'm just saying, the first thing to check is the fuses and see if you pop the fuse. Look at the fuses and see if you can replace a fuse and just get it to work. You might want to have it looked at, though, after 12 years anyway. I mean, 12 years is a pretty long time. It's almost time for a recap, probably. Do I think in keys and modes when I'm writing music? I don't really think that much about writing when I'm writing music. I just listen to the sounds and then I figure out what's going on later, generally speaking. Yeah. Okay. Can I explain 4-cable method, BMO? 4-cable method is just when you're running effects in front of the amplifier, and you're also running in the effect loop of the amplifier. And it's when you've got an effect unit that lets you patch in both ways. So you're going to have 2 sets of ins and outs. You're going to run into the effect unit, and then you're going to come out of a effect send out of the effect unit, go to the front end of the amp, right? So now anything you place before that effect send in your chain is going to be in front of the amplifier. Then you're going to take the effect send out of the amplifier, go back to the return of the loop that you took out of the unit, and return the loop that you took. This is hard when I'm jet lagged. I hate thinking about 4-cable method. But anyway, yeah, you go back to the return, and then you're going to take the output out of the effect unit. That's right. And you're going to run it into the effect return of the amplifier, if you can follow that. And that's going to patch the preamp of the amplifier basically kind of in like an effect into the chain of your effect unit. 4-cable method. I bet I didn't clear that up. If I wasn't so tired, I could explain that better. What pedal demos do you have coming up? Source Audio. I do have a Source Audio one coming up. When I get back from these gigs and stuff. Yes, I can do that. Stomp makes a great interface, says Daryl. I'm sure, yeah, for sure. Great, simple audio interface. Do I have, I already answered that one. This may sound cheesy, but my favorite pick is the Kirk Hammett Custom Jazz 3. Not at all, whatever works for you. That's from Tim. Okay, if my house is on fire, which guitar do I grab? Oh God, I don't know. My Strat's over there, I'd probably grab that. My 335, and then anything that is old and can't be replaced. That and my red signature model. Run out of the house with those, and then I can still work to pay for the deductible on my now burnt down home. I love your acoustic work. Would love to hear you play your D28 on a live stream one day. I'd be happy to. Great interview on that pedal show. Thank you, sir. Scott McKeon, is that right? Is one of the guitarists in Rufus Black and is just killer. Great songs and solos. Yeah, he's a really great lead player and great songs. I agree. Any thoughts on OSMG says on Kingfish? That guy's amazing. I do like his playing a lot from what I've seen. He's just really cool. You guys seen that blues player? He's so great. Have you ever played a Feto Nord pedal? I haven't. Would like to try that. Did you ever try a Katana amp? Was thinking getting one as a backup for my Helix. I don't really try the. I've tried the little Next Tone, the cheaper one. It sounds good. I'm a fan of the Boss modeling amps. I think that they sound really quite good. You know, and so I'm sure the Katana sounds good. For a basic, you know, practice kind of light solution. I mean, going way back to my Microcube. You know, I love that thing. I've got one of those little $100 Microcubes. I think it's terrific sounding. Okay, it's 7. I'm going to go to 7:20, and then I'm going to bail because I got to get some work done tonight. So I'll go 20 more minutes. But I appreciate you, everybody, being here, and thanks for joining on a Monday night. Epic Journey just pooped his pants, he says. Well, sorry, too much information. Yeah, Naples is awesome, says Eric. Granted, it is tough, but a beautiful area. It sure is a beautiful area, man. I went to Pompeii. That was amazing. Ooh, you guys want to see some of my pictures of Pompeii? What a place, man. Because I'm such a... I didn't know, but there's, of course, a big... Well, not of course, but there is a big Pink Floyd exhibit there. And I was so stoked to find that. Okay, first of all, this is right a couple hours outside of Naples. This is, of course, the Amalfi Coast. Positano I went to, and it's just like stunning. And it's hard to tell from that picture, like held up to the screen like that. But oh my God, Positano was like, you can see pictures on my my Instagram. What a city, man. I mean, like, absolutely gorgeous. Just the boats, and then the, you know, you've seen pictures of it before, I'm sure. So that was incredible. Where's my Pompeii? Yeah, like I took these. Here's me in the, you know, live at Pompeii, man. Come on. It was cool. But anyways, inside there's an amazing, really cool Pink Floyd exhibit where they're, you know, playing the tunes and showing the movie and all that kind of stuff. And it was super cool. I simply loved going there and checking out. You know, that's the outside of the auditorium. 2,000 years old, I guess. I don't know. Incredible. It was really cool. And of course, Gilmore did that concert there a couple of years ago. It was like 2015 or 16. He went back there and actually played. And I think he played for, I don't know, it was like 900 people a night or something, or 1,200 or something that you could just put on the floor in there. And I bought a ticket and went to they had it in the theater showing of it. I went to the theater showing of it. It was terrific. So to go there was really neat. It was great vibes. Daniel says Amalfi Coast is uniquely beautiful. Yeah, it sure is. Really gorgeous. Yeah. Do women sunbathe topless? Not that I saw. They do in parts of France. What songs am I learning? A live version of One Vision. And then I've got to go over about 19 others tonight and tomorrow. And then I got to go the next day to go play. So, really cool pictures. Where was that from? Says Lily. From Italy, from Amalfi Coast, as well as Pompeii, just outside of Naples. I was just there like 4 days ago. Crazy. Air guitar in the amphitheater, says Stephen Turner. He did when he was there. That's cool. Going to pull the trigger on a PT15, but I already own a PT212 with creambacks. Would there really be a tonal change if I was using the new one? It'll be different, but it's like you're cool with that cab, man. Just keep your old cab if you like it. It's a great cabinet. The creambacks sound really good with the amp too, so I wouldn't worry about it. If you're happy with your cabinet, don't feel like you need to change it. It is a different sound. I can't totally qualify exactly what the difference is like right now, but still using the iPhone 7. Yes, I am, says Jackson. I was going to buy a 10 like a year and a half ago, and then I just didn't get around to it. And then I just went, I kind of hate giving Apple money. I mean, I like them sort of, but God, they take a lot of my money, right? I mean, like I've got a, iMac here. I've got a expensive laptop. I've got an iPhone. I've got an iPad, and I buy Apple Care and I buy Apple iCloud storage, and they just take a lot of my money. So the phones are so expensive now. It's like buying a laptop. It's like $1,200 for one of those new iPhone 11s. It's bonkers. It's like, ugh, So anyway, yeah, I'd like to get one of those new cameras. That would be cool. But have I found any pedals that can get that rack quality? The tones in the episode with Michael Thompson is amazing. The H9 is pretty slamming, man. I mean, pretty great. I haven't directly compared it with a real H3000 or anything, so I don't know, but it just sounds good to me. I don't know. The rack stuff back in the day, it had a unique, each piece was different, but to me, stuff is so good now. I mean, I don't know. It's a balance of convenience and tone at this point, I think. Hit the like for Pete, says Constonozo G. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. We got 312 folks online. I'll be here for another 15 minutes or so. And what you need to get to the Pacific Northwest. You have us in the dark. I'd love to go up there and do a clinic. Seattle, I'd love to get to Vancouver too and do one actually. What are my influences, Larry? Everything from the Beatles to Van Halen to Metallica to I don't know, Zappa to Van Morrison to the Beach Boys to Joe Satriani to Jeff Beck to the other Beck to Soundgarden to I don't know. That's all that comes to mind right now. But I like to listen to all kinds of stuff. Honestly. Down at the bottom, do I have a preferred mic pre? I have some nice stuff here. I have a pair of APIs. They're 312 style pre's. A2D from API. I have a BAE 1073 MP. That's the main thing I use these days. So they're like Neve 1073s, stereo pair of those. Right there, I mean, Neve API. What else do you really need? I've also got a Universal Audio 1176, 6176, which is a 610 style pre married to an 1176 style compressor. Great sounding thing. But I mainly use the, what else? My Maris 440. I use that too. So those are my mic pre's. Good night from Argentina, or maybe you're saying hi. It's Ruben from Argentina. From 1 to 10, what score would I give each of these three effects processors? The Fractal Audio FX3, AXFX3, Kemper, and Line 6 Helix Floor. It's too hard from a 1 to 10. Geez, I don't know. They're so different, I always say the Kempers for people that, want to do the amp. If they're an amp person and they want to profile their own amps or collect different amp sounds, it's probably tough to beat the Kemper. The AXFX3 is the all-in-one powerhouse, that no compromise, really deep, learning curve, but great. No doubt about it. It's a hell of a unit. And the Helix Floor is an all-in-one, easy to use. Now, of course, the profile, the Kemper, there's an all-in-one floor unit now too. But the Helix to me is just it's the most ergonomic of all of them, easiest to use from a user standpoint, dialing things in. The editor's great. It's simpler, a little bit easier, and basically does everything that you could need. So they've all got their strengths. Simple, ergonomic, great tones in the Helix. AXFX3 full blown crazy, like the mothership of these types of units, you know, it'll do just about anything at a very high level, but it is harder to use. It's got a bit more of a learning curve, but it's great. Kemper amp profiling, you know. Yes, it's got good effects in it and stuff, like decent, you know, but it's like, let's be fair, like if we compare the Kemper and its effects capabilities to the Axe effects, you can't really, because of the routing options and the, you know, so it's different strengths, you know, for different people. What kind of coffee am I hitting tonight? It's a Starbucks, man. It's black and it's whatever was out there. I just grabbed it and made a pod. I'm on an autopilot right now. Thoughts on parallel line mixers for persevering pick attack and dynamics? Yeah, I mean, you know, anytime you can keep your dry through, it'll tend to help that. Parallel line mix or mini mix or something along those lines is a good way to do that for sure. Or the wetter box from Daniel from Gig Rig. I love that thing. I did a video on it. I mean, you can kind of hear it in that video, the clarity of the effects. Yeah. Aside from the R8 and R9, what's your favorite Gibson Les Paul model? A 59 standard, or 58 or 60. Yeah. Okay. What's about 7-Eleven? Go for another 8 or 9 minutes here, and I'm going to jet you guys. Does the API transformer get the tones of the 500 series? Well, it's a DI only. So if you just need a great DI, it's killer, you know. Did you ever use any of the old Line 6 pod stuff back in the day? I used a pod in the Philippines in front of 50,000 people once. So yes, I took a pod to South America. I used pod quite a bit. I did. What did I think about it for its time? It was good. Little bean, you know, pod XT. It was great for the time. My thinking was when I was going to like third world countries, you know, I didn't want to be stuck with whatever rental they had at the time. And I thought it's better for me. And I was doing like, you know, pop gig in the Philippines and stuff. It was like, I didn't need to be like the, you know, didn't have to sound like Van Halen or something. It was just guitar that was in the mix along with the keys and everything else. So I used it along with the foot pedal. It was great. Have I seen Rocket Man? What did I think? I didn't see that movie, actually. I didn't hear great things about it. So I just kind of avoided it. I think it kind of came out too soon after the Queen movie. It seemed like everybody was jumping on that bandwagon, and maybe it just didn't connect, which is unfortunate because I suppose it could be a cool movie. So maybe something about Freddie having, you know, not being around anymore and stuff in the Queen movie, you know, whereas Elton's still here, and maybe it's too soon or something for a movie like that about him. I don't know. Just guessing. Yeah. Middle of the day down under. Love the Captain Meets. What's your favorite stage wedge? Says Andrew. Thanks, man. Favorite wedge. Well, the Atomic is great for a powered cabinet. I'm not like super up on like all the different, but you know, anything. It seems like PAs have come a long way these days. Like a lot of the, even just the Yamaha stuff or whatever they're always using on the road to play, because I got stuck with some different PA systems and stuff when I was out doing my clinic tour right now. There was nothing I didn't like, actually. I was kind of surprised. I thought I was going to play through some wedges. I guess I'm used to, you know, going into clubs and plugging into a PA and whatever the monitors, they've been beat to hell by bands for years, and they sound like, you know, generally they just have that kind of loud, awful sound. most fold back systems in clubs and stuff like that. So when you try a new QSC or a brand new Yamaha or whatever in a music store, it's like, that sounds pretty damn good. Like, I don't know. And maybe it's just the fact that it's not beat to shit, you know? But as far as good wedges go, my favorites as far as like that I've heard recently are the Atomics, because there's these great powered, they're really made for modeling guitar systems, but they sound really killer. Got a huge sweet spot with a coaxial kind of tweeter high-end design, and then a low, so you can walk way off axis and they sound great. I actually told them when they came out with those things, like, you guys should just make these for sound reinforcement. Don't concentrate on the guitar modeling market. It was a much smaller niche. It was like, you make this great powered wedge. Like, get it out there for PA companies and stuff. Any plans to add more content on Jam Track Central? I'd love to. Just a matter of having the time to come up with it. And that's Jason. Yeah, I'd love to. I'm sure I will. Just to, I need to get some sleep first. I'm sorry, I'm so jet lag right now. That's what happens when you get back from Europe. All right, I'm gonna go to the end of the chat, answer a few more, and then I'm gonna go work on this stuff. So before I fall asleep. Lawler Humbucker opinions. I haven't tried a ton, but I've heard lots of good things. Do I hunt or fish? No. I fish because I grew up in Canada, and my aunt and uncle used to have a lake cabin. They still do, actually. Used to go there and catch perch and all that. But that was the extent of my fishing. I kind of enjoyed it, actually. It's pretty zen, pretty fun, I guess. But after your EU tour next year, I think you and Miley should hit the road. See if she calls me again one of these days. Yeah. Rocket Band was dreadful in my opinion, says Michael. Yeah, I did not hear good things, Maybe that's all the reason was that it just wasn't good. I don't know. Yeah. I can see you have the Brian May guitar, somebody said. Yeah, I gotta play that right after I get off of here. And alrighty. Still my Pod X 3-way convenience sounds good, says Evan. Yeah, they make good stuff. Adjust your eating time to your destination. It helps a lot, says Music Therapy. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about quality sleep. So, you got to get, I got 6 hours last night. It was pretty good. Melatonin works for me these days. I got the Trader Joe's melatonin, and it's pretty kick-ass. It's like, it'll keep me, otherwise you get the 3.5 hours of sleep or whatever, and you're screwed. The Trader Joe's stuff seems to keep me asleep long enough to 5, 6, 7 hours, 5, if you can get 7, you're dialed. I mean, like 6 is really good, and 5.5 even is doable for me for the first few nights. Thanks, Pete. We love what you do, says Larry. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Lake Louise and Banff, says William. I love Lake Louise. I love Banff. Simon says just bought he's in the top chat, just bought an Ernie Ball Music Man Cutlass with a silent circuit and buffered out. Heard guitars with buffered out don't work well with germanium fuzzes. That is true. Probably won't. It'd be nice if you could disable the buffer somehow. Let's see. Lee says, do I think I'll ever audition for a mainstream band like Phil did for Bon Jovi? Seems like mainstream bands are very open to YouTubers. What do you mean? Like they'd be interested in YouTube people? I'd be happy to. I mean, I've made more of my living. I mean, when I think of Bon Jovi, I guess they're a band. It's definitely John's band, I think of him as a solo artist, really. Right? I know it's Bon Jovi, but it's Bon Jovi, So I think it would be like doing an audition for any other kind of, other singers where it's like, I don't know. I know that there's the guys in the band that have been there for a long time, Tico and, but I think they're all kind of salaried dudes these days. They've just been around for a super long time. So I think he probably thinks of himself as kind of a Springsteen, with a band that has lasted a long time. I don't know. I'm making that up, but doesn't it seem that way? Like to me, a band is more, okay, Foo Fighters would be one step further towards a band, but it's really Dave's band, right? So I don't know. There's always that. I'd love to be in a band, man. I mean, one of these days, if a band came along that I could go out and play with, I'm all about it. A band that's established, just like, hey, we like what you do. You write cool riffs, whatever. You want to be part of our thing? Be like, hell yeah. So we will see. Phil X is not really a YouTuber first, says L Scott Music. That's for sure. I mean, I knew Phil going back. I mean, shit, man. I remember Phil almost 20 years ago. I think probably the first time I met him was probably around 2000 or 2001. And he was in a band called, what was his band called? Powder. and his wife at the time was the singer. And I always remember that, you know. I remember I was at a movie premiere for the movie Heartbreakers with Sigourney Weaver and maybe Lindsay Lohan. No, that was another movie. Sigourney Weaver, and I don't remember who else was in it. But anyways, I remember because that also at that movie premiere was Eric Idle and John Cleese standing talking to one another, and I was like, oh my god, I want to go up and, but I didn't. I was like, I didn't want to bother them. They're like, but that was like my youth, my Monty Python youth, standing there talking to one another. And I didn't have the balls to go up and say hi. But anyways, it was probably good I didn't, you know, want to intrude. They were like enjoying a moment together, chatting about something or other. Anyways, what was my point? Oh yeah, I remember looking up on the balcony because there was like confetti coming down or something at one point, and it was Phil and his wife, and they were standing up the balcony. And they were actually working. He had a job, like I guess they got hired by an event group or whatever to do this. I was like, dude, I was pointing at him because I knew him from his band back then, and he was working a gig that night. You know, now look at him; he's a guitar player in Bon Jovi. You know, he's done very well for himself. So, anyways. That's going back a long time. So yeah, he was playing music well before. I mean, you know, he used to play with he played in Triumph for a minute. I mean, he like replaced Rick in Triumph for a minute, in some incarnation of Triumph. Did he play with, who else did he play with? Can't remember. But you know, he's done a lot of work, that guy. You know, he's been a pro guitar player for a hell of a long time. Not really a YouTuber, is, you know, he's probably less of a YouTuber than me. I mean, he did the Fretted Americana videos, but that was like they hired him, I think, and they did all the editing. He would just come in and be Phil, you know. I guess he gained a lot of notoriety from that stuff, but you know. Anyways, well, you guys, I better split. I think I gotta go. John Cleese's classic, he sure is. The Ruddles, yeah. Phil was in Triumph before Fretted and was originally in the loop with Bon Jovi. Yeah, he went and filled in for Richie when he was, you know, he left for a minute and then came back, and then he was in permanently, I think, about by 2014 or something, right? Okay. When I saw Queen, the light show was out of this world, says Jack. Queen was one band I never got to see live. I wish. They were at the height of their powers around 80 or 81, and I like, I just was a little too young to go to shows then, I guess. Thoughts on Philip Sace? Love him. He's like, you know, super great, keeping the loud and proud blues alive. Okay, guys, I got to split. It's 7:22. I really got to work on this music and feel like I need to put in another, before I go to sleep, I need to put in a little bit of time on it. So I hope you guys have a great week. I'm going to do it same time. What happened to rock and roll, says Paw. Go listen to Rufus Black Band, the band I recommended tonight. You're going to love it. They're a great band. They'll maybe restore some faith in rock for you. All right. Everybody have a great week. I'll see you same time next week. I'm going to do it again at 6 p.m. next Monday. I'll be chill next Monday. It's going to be great. I won't be jet lagged. It's going to be great. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. Everybody have a good week, and talk to you soon. Bye.